Hi my wonderful people, welcome to Triple Actor. My name is Ismaila. Today we are going to be looking at what we started with, which is the quadratic equation, how to solve quadratic equation. And in our previous class, which we've treated about some days ago, in which you can also find the tutorial in our videos, in our previous videos. So today we are going to be looking at how we can solve a quadratic equation using completing the square method. Yes, if you go and check the previous class, you will see that we listed 3 methods in which we are going to be using for this tutorial. We are using the factorization method, we are going to be using the completing the square method, and we are going to be using the quadratic formula method. So today we are going to be making use of the completing the square method. So if we are together, if you are with me today, so let's see how we are going to make use of that. Now we have a question here which says that solve x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0 using the completing the square method. Now we have this solution. All right, we have x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. Now before you start using the completing the square method, there are some steps where you have to take. There are rules that will guide you, so that you will know that okay, this is the first thing I have to take before going forward, or before starting using the method. Now the first thing you have to note is that one, the coefficient of x squared, the coefficient, that's the first thing you have to look at, is whether the coefficient of x squared is 1. If the coefficient of x squared is 1, which means you can continue with with your method. But if the coefficient of x is not 1, of x squared is not 1, so there is a way in which you go about it. So for this, we look at the coefficient of the x squared. What do we have there? The coefficient is 1, which means we can progress to to step 2. And what will be the step 2? The step 2 is we now go to the constant. We ensure that this constant goes we take a kind of collecting like terms. Yes, collection of like terms, which means the one that has x, the variables of x will be on one side, while the constant will be on the other side of the equal sign. So what we will now do is we now have x squared plus 5x equal to, this is plus 6. So when it crosses the equal sign, we will be having 0 minus 6. So which means this will give us x squared plus 5x equal to minus 6. Okay, so since we've done this, the one with the x that has x is on the left hand side, while the constant is on the right hand side. So the next step is now for you to do what we call, to ensure that what must be added to make this a perfect square, to make this x squared plus 5x, to make them a perfect square. We will now look at, okay, what must be added, what must I add to this to make it a perfect square. So what we do is the step is you multiply the coefficient of x by 1/2. That's the coefficient of x, not x squared. Now the coefficient of what, of x, you multiply it by what, by 1 over 2. So then square the result, that's the result you get by after multiplying this by 1 over 2. You square the result and add it to both sides. So this is the step you will take when you want to make use of this. You multiply. The first thing is what, after you've separated the constant and the one with the variables, you multiply the coefficient of x by 1 over 2. And if you look at what we have here, where is our x? This is where we have the x, and the coefficient there is what, is 5. So the coefficient is what we multiply by 1 over 2. After you've gotten your answer, then square the result. The result you get after multiplying this, you square it and add it to both sides. So after squaring it, anything you get, you add it to this side, to the left hand side, and you also add it to the right hand side. So taking a look at what we have here, we'll be having what, x squared plus, now the coefficient of x is what, is 5. So we're having 5 times what, 1 over 2, and that will give us what, 5 over 2. So it means here now we'll now be having what, we'll now be having what, 5x. Now this is the result after multiplying by what, by 1 over 2. This is the result we have. Then we follow the next one. It said what, square what, the result. So we have to square this result. So this is what we will have. If you square the result, you can expand it or you leave it. If you expand it, which means we are going to be having what, 5 squared with what, 25 over what, 2 squared, which is what, 4. So that's what, so then square the result. So after squaring the result, I'm expanding it. This is what we have. So it means we are going to be having this to what, then we now say add, then add it to both sides. So the final result we have here, we'll add it to this side, which is 25 over 4, which is for this side, then equal to minus 6 plus 25 over 4. So this is what we arrive at after following this step. After multiplying the coefficient of x by half, this is what, and then squaring the result and add it to both sides. So this is what we have. The coefficient is 5, multiply it by half, by 1 over 2. We have this, squaring it, we have what, 25 over 4. Then we add it to what, to both sides of the equation. So now we're having this. So the next thing is for us to simplify this to a smaller value by putting it in a bracket and squaring them. Since we are having a square there, to make it a perfect square. So what do? Since we are having this, if you do a factorization of this, you will have what, x plus 5 over 2 all squared. So it means the simplification of this is what you will have. When you simplify everything here, or either factorization or whatever method, this is what you will have. Then it will now be equal to, so here we have what we call LCM. So that's lowest common multiple. We do it here. So what do? Lowest common multiple of 1 and 4 is 4. So how many times we are going to find 1 and 4 is 4 times. So 4 times minus 6, that will give us minus what? Minus 24. Then plus, how many times we will find 4 in 4? That's 1. Then 1 times 25, that will give us what? 25. So let's subtract this. We will be having what? 1 over 4. That's what we will have afterwards, after doing the simplification of this fraction here. We are going to be having it as what? 1 over 4. So that what you now have is, we're now going to be having what? X plus 5 over 2 all squared equal to 1 over 4. So if by the time you get to this side, you know that what you are almost through with what you are doing. You are almost through with what you are doing. If you have gone to this side, so let's move to what the next step that we have. Then if you have this, let me quickly okay, maybe I should, let's go to the, let's take up this side of the board. Let's take up this side of the board. So what do we have here? We are having what? X plus 5 over 2 all squared equals to what? Equals to 1 over 4. So what do we do from here? We do this square, we take it and what? And take it to be the what? The square root. As by removing this, we are going to be having x plus 5 over 2, okay, which is equal to, which now be equal to what? Plus or minus square root of what? 1 over 4. So this is what you will have after you've taken this square and what? And break it down to and put it on the other side of the equation. So looking at this, we now be having what? X plus 5 over 2 equal to what? Plus or minus square root of 1 is 1 over square root of 2 of 4 is what? Is 2. So when you after you've done this, then what next do we have? We are having x here, and we are having 5 plus 5 over 2 here, and we are having plus or minus what? 1 over 2. So what do we do? Collect like terms. And what are the like terms we bring together? We are bringing in 5 over 2 and what? And 1 over 2. So which means we are going to be having x equal to, so this 5 over 2, when it goes there, what will you be having? This is plus, so it will have minus 5 over 2 plus or minus 1 over 2. So since this is a plus or minus, you have to what? We split it up. And by splitting it up, we are going to be having what? X equal to minus 5 over 2. Sorry, pardon me, I will have to clean this off for us to have okay. X is what? Equals to minus 5 over 2 plus 1 over 2, or x equal to what? Minus 5 over 2 minus 1 over 2. Okay, since we all know that one of the things you must know about quadratic equation is that what? We are going to be having two roots. If you want to know about the three things that you should know about quadratic equation, I will go to our previous video and you will see it there. So what do we do here? So x here will be equal to, what's the LCM? What's common? The lowest common multiple? 2. 2 into 1. 1 times 5 minus 5 plus 2 into 1. 1 times 1, 1. So x here will now be equals to minus 5 plus 1. That will be giving us what? Minus 4 over 2. So x equal to what? When you divide this, 2 into 1, 2 in 4, 2. So here we'll be having x equals to what? Minus 2. Or let's do the LCM here. What's common? 2. 2 into 1. 1 times 5 minus 5 minus 5. Then we're having minus 2 into 1. 1 times 1, 1. So here we are going to be having x equals to minus 5 minus 1. Minus 5 minus 1, it will be giving us what? Minus 6. So minus 6 over 2. So here we'll be giving us what? X equals to what? Minus 3. So that's the root of the what? Of the equation. So that's how you solve for a quadratic equation using completing the square method. So if you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. Also like our page, so that, and also don't forget to turn on the notification button, so that whenever we upload a new video, you will be notified. Also, if you have questions, if you comment, don't forget to put it in the comment section, and I'll be glad to reply you as soon as possible. So thank you, and have a nice day ahead of you.